Hi and welcome to the Tradebox video on Sage 50 configuration. So the purpose of the video is to run through all of the prerequisites that you need to consider in Sage 50 before you start looking to integrate Tradebox with Sage. So before we start looking at Sage, let me just jump you over to our website, tradebox.uk.com. If you select integrations, scroll down to Sage, and then go to the videos and guides section, you'll find some really helpful videos and guides, specifically the Configuring Sage 50 for use with Tradebox article. If you click on that, that'll open up an article base on our Help Center, and it'll walk through all of the aspects that are going to get covered in the video. Okay, so to Sage, first thing we want to do is just to make sure that you're logged in as manager. So the default username, admin username for Sage is manager. If we just click log off, and then I'm going to log in as manager, and that gives me full access rights. Okay, so that's me logged in. Next thing we need to do is we need to take you to help and about, and that's going to take you to this page, and we're going to check some settings. The first setting we're going to check is that we have third-party integration enabled. So if we scroll down to the features enabled section and go to this part here called SDO to see whether it says yes or no. If it says yes, you've got it turned on. If it doesn't, if it says no, you haven't. So to get third-party integration turned on within Sage, and this is a prerequisite, we can't speak to Sage unless this has been enabled, you need to go to Tools, Activation, Enable Third-Party Integration. Okay, you're going to pop-up box telling you it needs to be done on each station, and then this box asking for a serial number and an activation key. Okay, so you can either contact Sage directly, and they will give you the serial number activation key. But if you're using version 21 to 24, if you come back to this article, click on the link here, and this will give you a list of all of the Sage SDO serial numbers and activation keys for version 21 to 24. Version 24.1, which is a very recent upgrade, no longer requires third-party integration within Sage. If you're using a version of Sage that we support that's older than version 21, then unfortunately you will need to contact Sage directly and get the serial number and activation key. And just to be very clear, this isn't your software serial number activation key you got when you purchase Sage. It's a third-party key, which is entirely different. Okay, once you've done that and you clicked on continue, it's going to tell you under SDO that yes, you have that integrated. Okay, next thing that we need to do is we need you to create a couple of users in Sage specifically and exclusively for use by Tradebox. So we do that by choosing settings and access rights. And you can see that I've already got two set up, one called TB user, one called TB service. Again, jumping back to the article, it's covered under step 2, create 2 new users, and a full set of information on how to do that. It's pretty straightforward. You just click on new, type in TB user, and allocate a password and give it full access. Okay, so I already have those two set up. Next thing that we want to look at is foreign currency. So if you are downloading from a site that has foreign currency, euros or dollars, for example, and you want to actually send them to Sage in euros and dollars, you need to turn on foreign trader. And again, if we scroll down to features enabled, you'll see whether foreign trader is turned on or not. That takes us neatly onto the customer section. So if we go to customers, and what you need to do is you need to create a generic customer in Sage specifically for each channel in Tradebox. So we've got channels set up here for Amazon Germany, Amazon France, Amazon UK, Amazon USA, eBay, and our web sales. And what you'll notice is if we just scroll across to the right, that I've actually got the Amazon Germany site set up for euros, Amazon France customer set up for euros, the Amazon US customer set up for US dollars. And that's because in this example, I will be posting my US dollar sales into Sage actually in US dollars, which requires foreign currency turned on. and it requires your customer setup in the correct currency. Even if you're going to create individual customers in Sage, which is one of the options within Tradebox, you still need a fallback default customer for each individual channel. Okay, next thing we're going to look at is banks. Okay, so we've got our standard 1200 actual physical high street banks set up here. We also have set up some notional banks for individual channels that we're going to be integrating with. You'll notice here we've got one for SagePay, PayPal, and WorldPay, and that's because in this example, our website offers all three payment options that customers can check out with. The reason we create notional bank accounts, it makes reconciliation that much easier. So when the invoices are paid to the ledgers, we can create your sales receipt into the relevant bank based upon the payment method used. And that means you can collect together all of your sales for Amazon UK in your Amazon UK bank account. And when you actually receive money from Amazon, you can just do an in-bank transfer between your Amazon account and your actual 1200 account. And it will make, from a bookkeeping perspective, it makes things a lot easier. Next thing to look at is your nominal ledger. Have you created nominals for your different sales channels? So in this case, we've got nominals in the 4,000 range for eBay, Amazon, Amazon Germany, website sales, etc. And that's great if you just want to allocate sales to a nominal ledger based upon where you're selling. The other thing you need to consider are your products. So here's a list of products that we've got set up. If you are doing product invoices or sales orders within Sage, then we can get the stock levels to be adjusted. So as we pass your product invoice, your sales order to Sage, just like if you do it manually, when you update it to the ledgers, the stock level will change. And if we just drill into a product, you'll see that within the product, it's already allocated to a nominal code. So by default, if you choose Tradebox to create product invoices or sales orders, we'll use the sales nominal on the product record. That can be overridden. There is a setting within Tradebox to do that, but that's the default setting. Getting your products set up is something that's you need to look at significantly. In an ideal world, all of your product codes here would match your online SKUs. So as we're downloading your products and passing them to Sage, these would match. And also, if you want us to pass your stock levels back up to your sales channels from Sage, then ideally these will match as well. If they don't match, we can do product mapping in Tradebox, where we can almost give it an alias for your online, if your online SKU is different to your Sage product code. Okay, last thing to look at is just a bit of housekeeping. If we go to your invoice list, here's some invoices that we created earlier from some web sales. And one of the things that we would suggest doing is adding specific channels to make your life easier. And you simply do that by hovering above the column header, right clicking, and choosing the relevant column. So we would suggest that you choose customer order number. Tradebox will take the order number from the sales channel you're selling on and will populate it onto the invoice, and you can see that here. So we can coordinate this, know that this particular invoice relates to a specific online order number. Also, we would suggest that you use the order taken by option, which we can identify the different sales channel that you've sold upon, and we can populate that in your invoice list. And then finally, we would again suggest that you push your currency code in here and your foreign amount in here. So if you are selling in foreign currencies and you post the message in the foreign currencies, you can see not only the foreign currency amount you sold in, but what the equivalent GBP is. Okay, thanks for listening. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in contact with us. Again, if you jump onto the Tradebox website, you can see that our contact details are up here, or you can just simply click on support and jump onto the Tradebox Help Center, click on submit a request, and raise a ticket, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, thanks very much for listening.